Hey everyone, good evening, and thank you so much for tuning in with us. Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Alyssa Ashe, and we apologize for the delay. We had some technical issues, but now we are back up, and I'm here to provide you with an analysis of today when Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein actually indicted 12 Russian intelligence officials. So it was pretty short, only about a 20-minute press conference that you saw us streaming earlier today, and I'm going to tell you some of the highlights, some of the things he said, along with a few other just some information from some articles as well, and I have some tweets to show you guys. Okay, so we are good to go. So this is not new information. We knew that Russians were interfering before, even as 13 of them were indicted previously by Special Counsel Mueller in February, and I'll get to more information about that as well. Thankfully, no one in the Trump campaign was accused, and this hacking by these Russian intelligence officials did not have any impact on the outcome of the election, and no votes were changed. So hopefully you saw the stream earlier. If not, you can go back. It's the one just before this one. You can watch that and then come back here just so you have a kind of a better idea of what I'm talking about. And I'm going to tell you some quotes. So even before Attorney General Rod Rosenstein came out, there was an official speaking, and you could hear some comments from some reporters broadcasting back to their news stations and back to their producers, and you could hear an official saying, and I apologize, I don't have his name, but he said, "This is the heart of what Robert Mueller's investigation was supposed to look at. These are Russian intelligence officials who were in charge of this hacking and in charge of releasing it, and their intention all along was to meddle with the elections." And he also said that the Russian intelligence officials did not coordinate with Americans or in any way impact the voting count, and that 12 military members of the GRU are charged. They hacked into the DNC and the DCCC and into the Clinton campaign email accounts. And also, I see you guys chatting along right here in the YouTube chat. Really appreciate that. So if you have any questions, you can say them in there as well. But if you want to make that extra just to make sure I see your questions, please message me on Twitter. And I will show you guys my lower third right here. It's coming up. It's at Alyssa RSBN. You can see that on Twitter if you would like to message me on Twitter. I would love to answer all of your questions or share some opinions if you would like them stated out on air. So going into what Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said, he stated that the grand jury, this was his opening statement, the grand jury in D.C. returned an indictment presented by Special Counsel's office where 12 Russian military officials by name were charged for conspiring to interfere with the 2016 presidential election. And I actually have that indictment, and so I'm going to pull it up and show it to you guys. This is from CBS News. So you can see the indictment right here with all of the defendants that I am not even going to try to pronounce because I don't want to butcher them. And you can see it says in count 1, the conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States. In or around 2016, the Russian Federation operated a military intelligence agency called the Main Intelligence Directorate of the General Staff, the GRU. The GRU had multiple units, including units 26165 and 74455, engaged in cyber operations that involved the staged releases of documents stolen through computer intrusions. These units conducted large-scale cyber operations to interfere with the 2016 presidential election. And then all the defendants are listed, and it says starting in at least March 2016, the conspirators used a variety of means to hack the email accounts of volunteers and employees of the U.S. presidential campaign of Hillary Clinton, including the email account of the Clinton campaign's chairman. By in or around April 2016, the conspirators also hacked into the computer networks of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. And let me blow this up a little bit for you guys. It's hard to see. There you go. The conspirators covertly monitored the computers of dozens of DCCC and DNC employees, implanted hundreds of files containing malicious computer code, and stole emails and other documents from the DCCC and DNC. And then by in or around April 2016, the conspirators began to plan the release of material stolen from the Clinton campaign, DCCC, and the DNC. And then beginning in or around June 2016, the conspirators staged and released tens of thousands of the stolen emails and documents. They did so using fictitious online personas, including WikiLeaks and Guccifer 2.0. And some of this information I will get into more and repeat more when I tell you the entire Attorney General's statement. And it looks like we just got a $15 donation from Barnburger 9811. Thank you so much, Barnburger. We really appreciate you. And it was good seeing you in the chat room yesterday donating, and now you're back again. So thank you for joining us. So moving on to number 7, the conspirators also used the Guccifer 2.0 persona to release additional stolen documents through a website maintained by an organization, Organization 1, that had previously posted documents stolen from U.S. personas, entities, and U.S. government. The conspirators continued their U.S. election interference operations through in or around November 2016. To hide their connections to Russia and the Russian government, the conspirators used false identities and made false statements about their identities. To further avoid detection, the conspirators used a network of computers located across the world, including in the United States, and paid for this infrastructure using cryptocurrency. And in case you don't know, because I wasn't sure either, I looked up the definition of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies are digital assets designed to work as a medium of exchange that use strong cryptography to secure financial transactions, control the creation of additional units, and verify the transfer of assets. Cryptocurrency is a kind of digital currency, virtual currency, or alternative currency. They used decentralized control as opposed to centralized electronic money and central banking systems. The decentralized control of each cryptocurrency works through distributed ledger technology, typically a blockchain, that serves as a public financial transaction database. So, in case you did not know, that is the definition of cryptocurrency. And then moving on, the indictment talks about the different defenders. So defendant Viktor Borisovich Nitishkow, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, was actually the military officer in command of Unit 26165, which is located at the Kamalsky Prospect in Moscow, Russia. Now, this unit had the primary responsibility of hacking the DCCC and the DNC, as well as the email accounts of individuals affiliated with the Clinton campaign. Now, the next defendant listed, Boris, was a mayor in the Russian military assigned to this unit as well. He oversaw the department within the unit dedicated to targeting military, political, governmental, and non-governmental organizations, with separating emails and other computer intrusion activity. And then moving on, another military officer, Defendant Dmitry Badin. He was the assistant head of the department, supervised with other co-conspirators who targeted the DCCC, DNC, and individuals affiliated with the Clinton campaign. Defendant Ivan Yermakov was a Russian military officer assigned to this unit as well. He used various online personas, including Kate S. Milton, James McMorgans, and Karen W. Millen, to conduct hacking operations on behalf of his unit. And he also participated in hacking at least 2 email accounts from which campaign-related documents were released through DC Leaks. And then, in or around May 2016, he also participated in hacking the DNC email server, stealing DNC emails that were later released through Organization 1. Defendant Alexei Lukashev was a senior lieutenant in the Russian military assigned to this department as well, and his online personas included Den Katenberg and Juliana Martrivnova, and he sent spear phishing emails to members of the Clinton campaign and affiliated individuals, including the chairman of the Clinton campaign. And in case you are not aware, I have the definition of spear phishing as well, which was one of the 2 tactics they used. Hold on, let me pull that up for you. So it is a process of sending misleading email messages and tricking users into disclosing passwords and security info. And then the other method they used was hacking into computer networks and spying on users, capturing keystrokes, taking screenshots, and removing data from computers. Also, the defendant Nikolai Kozacek was a lieutenant captain in the Russian military assigned to Morgachev's department within Unit 26165. He used a variety of monikers, including Kazakh and, you can see this, blah 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 1 2 3 4 5 6 5. He developed, customized, and monitored X-agent malware used to hack the DCCC and DNC networks beginning in or around April 2016. And then Defendant Yershov was a Russian military officer assigned to Morgachev's department within this unit as well. And he assisted Kozacek and other co-conspirators in testing and customizing X-agent malware before the actual deployment and use. And then Defendant Malyshev was a second lieutenant in the Russian military assigned to Morgachev's department within this unit as well. He used a variety of monikers, and these are kind of unpronounceable. He monitored X-agent malware implanted on the DCCC and the DNC networks. And the defendant Osadchuk was a colonel in the Russian military and the commanding officer of the other unit, 74455, which was located in Moscow as well, in a building referred to within the GRU as the Tower. And this unit assisted in the release of stolen documents through DC Leaks and Guccifer 2.1 personas, the promotion of those releases, and the publication of anti-Clinton content on social media accounts operated by the GRU. And then defendant Potemkin was an officer in the Russian military assigned to the 2nd Unit as well. He was a supervisor in the department within Unit 74455 and responsible for the administration of computer infrastructure and which was used in cyber operations. Now, the infrastructure and social media accounts administered by his department were used, among other things, to assist in the release of stolen documents through DC Leaks and Guccifer 2.0 personas. And then you may be wondering what was the object of the conspiracy. And it was to hack into the computers of U.S. persons and entities involved in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, steal documents from those computers, and stage releases of the stolen documents to interfere with the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Now, this document is 29 pages long, so I'm not going to get into all of it. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the conspirators, but I will skim it a little bit and try to tell you the most important things. So some of these defendants and their co-conspirators actually targeted victims using the technique I just told you about called spear phishing, where they would steal victims' passwords or otherwise gain access to their computers. Now, beginning by at least March 2016, the conspirators targeted over 300 individuals affiliated with the Clinton campaign, the DCCC, and the DNC. So, for example, it was about March 19th, 2016, Lukashev and his co-conspirators created and sent a spear phishing email to the chairman of the Clinton campaign. He used the account John356GH at an online service that abbreviated the lengthy website address. And he actually used this account to mask a link contained in the spear phishing email, which directed the recipient of a GRU-created website. He altered the appearance of the sender email address in order to make it look like the email was a security notification from Google, and this is a technique known as spoofing, instructing the user to change his password by clicking the embedded link. Those instructions were followed. On or about March 21st, 2016, Lukashev, Yermakov, and their co-conspirators stole the contents of the chairman's email account, which consisted of over 50,000 emails. So kind of just going through this, also how they hacked into the DCCC network. So beginning in or around March 2016, the conspirators, in addition to their spear phishing efforts, researched the DCCC and DNC computer networks to identify technical specifications and vulnerabilities. So it was about March 15th, 2016, when Yermakov ran a technical query for the DNC's Internet Protocol configurations to identify connected devices. And about the same day, he searched for open source information about the DNC network, the Democratic Party, and Hillary Clinton. And then a little bit later, at the beginning of April, he ran a technical query for the DCCC's Internet Protocol configurations to identify connected devices. And moving on, how they hacked into the DNC network. It was about the same time, on or about April 18th, 2016, the conspirators hacked into the DNC's computers through their access to the DCCC network. They then installed and managed different types of malware, as they did previously with the DCCC network, to explore the DNC network and steal documents. And about, it was actually the same day, they activated X-Agent's keylog and screenshot functions to steal credentials of a DCCC employee who was authorized to access the DNC network. The conspirators hacked into the DNC network from the DCCC using stolen credentials, and by in or around June 2016, they gained access to approximately 33 DNC computers. Now, this is absolutely crazy, and just that they were so crafty, and American officials had no idea that this was going on. So I'm so thankful that steps are being taken with this case so that elections can be secured in the future. So also in 2016, the conspirators installed X-Agent malware on the DNC network, including the same versions installed on the DCCC network, and Malchev and his co-conspirators monitored the X-Agent malware from the AMS panel and captured data from the victims' computers. And the AMS panel collected thousands of keylog and screenshot results from the DCCC and DNC computers, such as a screenshot and a keystroke capture of DCCC employee 2 viewing the DCCC's online banking information. And there was also theft of the DCCC and DNC documents. The conspirators actually searched for and identified computers within the DCCC and DNC networks that stored information related to the 2016 U.S. presidential election. For example, they searched one hacked DCCC computer for terms that included Hillary, Cruz, and Trump. They also copied select DCCC folders, including Benghazi investigations. They targeted computers containing information such as opposition research and field operation plans for the 2016 elections. Now, so that they were able to steal a large number of these documents at once without any detection, they used a publicly available tool to gather and compress multiple documents on the DCCC and DNC networks. And they also used other GRU malware known as X-Tunnel to move these stolen documents outside the DCCC and DNC networks through encrypted channels. And for example, they compressed gigabytes of data from DNC computers, including opposition research. They later moved the compressed DNC data using X-Tunnel to a GRU leased computer located in Illinois. And it is interesting, obviously that computer was in the United States, but they had computers in different systems all over the world just so that they would be less likely to be detected. And I will get into that later when I talk about the Attorney General's statements. But kind of going through this a little bit. So if you're wondering about their efforts to remain on the DCCC and the DNC networks, despite their efforts to hide their activity, both the DCCC and DNC became aware that they had been hacked and hired a security company to identify the extent of their intrusions, and this was around June 2016. Company 1 took steps to exclude intruders from the networks. Now, despite these efforts, a links-based version of X-Agent programmed to communicate with a GRU registered domain, linuxkrnl.net, remained on the DNC network in or around October 2016. And kind of moving on, there were also stolen documents that were released through the DC leaks. Now, this was more than a month before the release of any documents. The conspirators constructed the online persona DC leaks to release and publicize stolen election-related documents. Now, basically mid-April, after attempting to register the domain electionleaks.com, the conspirators registered the domain dcleaks.com through a service that anonymized the registrant. And the funds used to pay for dcleaks.com, the domain, originated from an account at an online cryptocurrency service that the conspirators also used to fund the lease of a virtual private server registered with this operational email account you can see right here. So it was also used to register that persona that I said earlier, John 356GH. This was a URL shortening account used by Guccifer to spearfish the Clinton campaign chairman and other campaign-related individuals. Now, kind of moving on through this, there were also stolen documents released through Guccifer 2.1, and I see a lot of your comments, Stephanie Walling, that it was total corruption. Yes, definitely. And I am laser focused on this, but know that I am reading your comments as well, and I really appreciate them, so please keep commenting. And we're going to take a second before I go on and tell you more about Guccifer 2.0. I am going to take a quick minute and show you guys how you can actually donate and support RSBN. We are not able to do this without your support, and so I'm going to show you guys the ways that you can donate. So you can go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate, and finally you can see it hasn't been showing up recently, but in this sidebar, if you just go to rsbnetwork.com, you can just click donate, the fourth tab right here on the top bar. But since I typed it in, we are already here, and so there are two different ways online. You can donate by PayPal or credit card. So clicking through that link, it's super easy. You just enter the amount, your debit or credit card, your billing address, and then phone number and email, and we will get to keep about 90% of that. And you can also give a monthly donation through Patreon, and that is Patreon with an E, patreon.com/RSBN if you're going through that way instead of going through our website. So you can donate on here, and you can see there are different levels you can become. And it is just a fun way to donate, a little bit more personal, because you can actually become a patron or a monthly donator, and you can receive different things like hats, stickers, t-shirts, pens, pencils, just to remember us throughout the day, and to always remember to, of course, keep watching us. And also, you can donate right here in the YouTube chat. You just click the super chat and it comes up in a bright color, just like one we just got from Jesus is Lord 5454, $10. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you and all of your support, and how you are just always watching and donating and staying in the chat room. We really appreciate your support. And also, if you're not comfortable donating online, we completely understand that. You can also send directly to our P.O. box here in Auburn, and you just write the check out to RSBN, and you can see it right here on the screen. It's 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama 36830. And so that is a fun and easy way to donate as well. And it has just been such an honor to see some of your handwritten letters and just support of us through all that we go to. You know, traveling to these rallies can get very expensive, and our equipment's expensive. And so we are very thankful for all of you and your support in donating. It's definitely heartwarming to read all of those letters. And we're going to keep going through this indictment report a little bit before I continue telling you what the Attorney General said. And I have my Twitter up as well. I'm going to refresh it real quick in case any of you have opinions, comments, questions that you would like me to answer. Please let me know. Looks like I just got one from Isaac Berry. He said the Mueller witch hunt needs to end now. With these indictments, anything that doesn't have to do with Russia, they look for would be beyond the scope of the investigation. End it now. Great job, Alyssa. Thank you so much, Isaac. I completely agree with you that this needs to be wrapped up, and so I am very glad that this statement took place today, just so that we can kind of, keep the ball rolling a little bit. So also, moving on to the stolen documents that were released through Guccifer 2.0, it was about June 14th, 2016, when the DNC, through Company 1, publicly announced that it had been hacked by Russian government actors. In response, the conspirators created the online persona Guccifer 2.0 and falsely claimed to be a lone Romanian hacker to undermine the allegations of Russian responsibility for the intrusion. And then the next day, the conspirators logged into a Moscow-based server, which was used and managed by that second unit, 74455, and in between 4:19 p.m. and 4:56 p.m. Moscow Standard Time, they searched for certain words, including some hundred sheets, and you can see the list of words up here right now. Some hundreds of sheets: DC leaks, Illuminati, worldwide known, think twice about, and company's competence. And then later on, it was about 7 p.m. Moscow Standard Time, the online persona Guccifer 2.0 published its first post on a blog site which was created through WordPress. It was titled DNC Servers Hacked by a Lone Hacker, and this post used a variety of English words and phrases that they had searched for earlier. And you can see right here just some direct quotes from that website. Worldwide known cybersecurity company announced that the DNC servers had been hacked by sophisticated hacker groups. I'm very pleased that the company appreciated my skills so highly. Here's just a few docs from many thousands I extracted when hacking into the DNC network, some hundred sheets. And I guess customers should think about the company's competence and then the Illuminati and their experience, and they use some explicatory words there as well. So then it was kind of between June 2016 and October 2016, the conspirators and Guccifer 2.0 actually released documents through WordPress that they had stolen from the DCCC and the DNC. Now, the conspirators posing as Guccifer 2.0 also shared stolen documents with certain individuals. So they were posing as Guccifer 2.0. As I said, they received a request for stolen documents from a candidate for the U.S. Congress. They used the Guccifer 2.0 persona and sent the candidate stolen documents related to the candidate's opponent. And they transferred approximately 2.5 gigabytes of data stolen from the DCCC to a then registered state lobbyist and online source of political news. The stolen data included donor records and personal identifying information for more than 2,000 Democratic donors. and also posing as Guccifer 2.0. They sent a reporter stolen documents pertaining to the Black Lives Matter movement, and the reporter responded by discussing when to release the documents and offering to write an article about their release. So they also communicated with U.S. persons about the release of stolen documents, and they wrote to a person who was in regular contact with senior members of the presidential campaign of President Trump. Thank you for writing back. Did you find anything interesting in the docs I posted? And then the conspirators added, please tell me if I can help you anyhow. It would be a great pleasure to me. So you can see just kind of that warm approach they were trying, some of the sneakiness, craftiness, just to communicate with different American officials. And it looks like we got a new sponsor, the Millers. Thank you so much for becoming a sponsor here on YouTube. We really appreciate you. And then the conspirators conducted operations as Guccifer 2.0 and DC Leaks using overlapping computer infrastructure and financing. And then it was between mid-March and the end of April when they actually used the same pool of Bitcoin funds to purchase a virtual private network account and lease a server in Malaysia. And like I mentioned before, they were all over the world. And about June 2016, they used this Malaysian server to host the DCLeaks.com website. So they used this VPN to log into the Guccifer 2.0 Twitter account, which was at Guccifer_2. They opened that VPN account from the same server that was used to register malicious domains for the hacking of the DCCC and DNC networks. So they posed as Guccifer 2.0. They contacted a U.S. reporter with an offer to provide emails from Hillary Clinton's staff, and they also sent the reporter the password to access a non-public password protected portion of DCLeaks.com containing emails stolen from Victim 1 by Lukashev, Yermakov, and their co-conspirators in or around March 2016. And then they actually published a statement the beginning of January 2017, falsely claiming that the intrusions and release of stolen documents had totally no relation to the Russian government, which is obviously false. And then the use of Organization 1. So in order to actually expand their interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, the conspirators transferred many of the documents that they actually stole from the DNC and chairman of the Clinton campaign to Organization 1. And the conspirators, again, they were posing as Guccifer 2.0, discussed the release of the stolen documents and the timing of those releases with Organization 1 to heighten the impact on the 2016 U.S. presidential election. And then it was about June 22nd, 2016, the organization sent a private message to Guccifer 2.0, which said, send any new material stolen from the DNC here for us to review, and it will have a much higher impact than what you are doing. And then it was July 6, 2016, when Organization 1 added, if you have anything Hillary related, we want it in the next 2 days preferable because the DNC is approaching and she will solidify Bernie supporters behind her after. And the conspirators responded, okay, I see. Organization 1 then responded, we think Trump has only a 25% chance of winning against Hillary, so conflict between Bernie and Hillary is interesting. And then after some of these failed attempts to transfer the stolen documents, starting in late June 2016, it was about mid-July 2016, the conspirators sent Organization 1 an email with an attachment titled WKDNC link1.text.gpg. The conspirators explained to Organization 1 that the encrypted file actually contained instructions on how to access an online archive of stolen DNC documents. And then it was about mid-July 2016 when Organization 1 confirmed that it had the 1 gigabyte or so archive, and it would make a release of the stolen documents this week. And then it was in the end of July when Organization 1 was actually released with over 20,000 emails and other documents stolen from the DNC network by the conspirators. Now, this release actually occurred 3 days before the start of the DNC convention, well, the DNC, and the Organization 1 did not disclose Guccifer 2.0's role in providing them. The latest in time email released through Organization 1 was dated on or about May 25th, 2016, approximately the same day the conspirators hacked the DNC Microsoft Exchange server. So we're going to move through that timeline a little bit more, and then I will tell you the statutory allegations that were made. So it was about October 7th, 2016, when Organization 1 released the first set of emails from the chairman of the Clinton campaign that had been stolen by Lukashev and his co-conspirators. Now, it was between or about October 7th and November 7th, 2016, when Organization 1 released approximately 33 tranches of documents that had been stolen from the chairman of the Clinton campaign. So in total at this time, over 50,000 stolen documents were released. And then some of the allegations, it was from around March 2016 through November 2016 in the District of Columbia and elsewhere. The defendants mentioned here, you can see their names, together with others known and unknown to the grand jury, knowingly and intentionally conspired to commit the below offenses to the United States, which are listed here below. They were to knowingly access a computer without authorization and exceed authorized access to a computer, and to obtain thereby information from a protected computer where the value of the information exceeded $5,000 in value of the Title 18 U.S. Code sections 1030A to C and 1030C to B. And before I get into the next one, we just got a $10 donation from Stephen John Asante. Thank you so much. It is so wonderful to have you here on our stream, and you've really been watching all week, so thank you so much for your support. I love seeing some of the same names again and again. And remember, if you have a comment about this or a question that you would like me to mention, you can message me on Twitter as well. And here's my Twitter handle. I will leave it up for a second, at Alyssa RSBN, if you would like to mention me on Twitter. You can mention me, but I do see direct messages faster, and it looks like I actually have a couple, so let me check real quick. Manning to Luck, you are doing a fantastic job on RSBN, watching now in chat, hashtag MAGA, thank you so much, Manning. Really appreciate you. And let's see. And messages from Webster Maven. Thank you so much, reminding me that he's been a moderator. Now, comment right here, Webster Maven, are you the same moderator as Webster Cal that is here with us right now? Let me know. But thank you so much for your messages. And it looks like my dad has joined the chat. Hey, glad you are here with us. And I am going to head back over, let's see, first, before I continue reading the report to you. Okay, Webster Cal saying, no, you're not the same as Webster Maven. Sorry about that. Oh wait, now you're saying yes. Okay, awesome. Good. Glad to have you in both. Anyways, we have a comment from Stormy613. The program used to hack was an old NSA program. I'm sure Russia had a more advanced program and would have left no IP address. They are running scared as POTUS closes in on them. LOL. Thank you for your comment, Stormy. Okay, and Webster Cal, yes you are. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you for your notes. I really appreciate that. And let's see, Jeff mentioned me on Twitter. He said this news today would just give Hillary even more excuses. Can't really disagree with you there. Thank you for that, Jeff. And I am going to bring this report back up for you guys and keep going. So, okay, Roger Vega reminded me Cal is the original mod of RSBN. Well, thank you so much for being one of our originals. We really appreciate you and all the moderators in here. I see Guinevere, DM, Roger Vega, Barbara Braley. Thank you so much for always being in the chat room and keeping it clean, reminding people of our address, different links so they can donate, sometimes even giving them information to some of the things that I'm talking about, and just for always keeping our chat room clean and just making sure that things go smoothly, reminding people of our rules and different things like that. Thank you so much, mods. From all of us here at RSBN, we really appreciate you, and you are definitely part of our family, and you do this, you volunteer, you're not paid. So thank you so much for that, and just for giving us so much of your time and from your heart. We really appreciate that. Yes, and Roger Vega as well. If I didn't mention you, and got JC in here, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you guys. So I have it right here. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more from the report. I just read that about the sections. And then these are, like I said before, or in case you are just tuning in, the statutory allegations. So one of them was to knowingly cause the transmission of a program, information, code, and command, and as a result of such conduct, to intentionally cause damage without authorization to a protected computer, and where the offense did cause it, and if completed, would have caused loss aggregating $5,000 in value to at least one person during a 1-year period from a related course of conduct affecting a protected computer and damage affecting at least 10 protected computers during a 1-year period in violation of the Title 18 United States Code sections 1030A 5A and 1030C4B. And then it says, in furtherance of the conspiracy and to effect its illegal objects, the conspirators committed the overt acts set forth in paragraphs 1 through 19, 21 through 49, 55, and 57 through 64, which are realleged and incorporated by reference as it fully set forth herein. And then in furtherance of the conspiracy as set forth in paragraphs 1 through 19, 21 through 49, 55, and 57 through 64, the conspirators knowingly falsely registered a domain name and knowingly used that domain name in the course of committing an offense, namely the conspirators' registered domains, including dcleaks.com and actblues.com, with false names and addresses, and actually issued those domains in the course of committing the felony offense charged in count 1. And then counts 2 through 9. So you see the names of the defendants listed here. I'll give you a second to take those in if you want to. I've mentioned most of them already. So they did knowingly transfer, possess, and use without lawful authority a means of identification of another person during and in relation to a felony violation enumerated in Title 18. The U.S. Code found fraud in violation of Title 18 and in these different sections, knowing that the means of identification belonged to another real person. And you can see the victims' names here and their means of identifications. But today, in the Attorney General's speech, he said that there were no victims named right now, as of now. And I just saw your message, George Washington. Do you think we would hack theirs if we could? No, I do not. I don't believe that that's something that Americans would do. And no, I don't believe. I just think that that's completely below our morals. Obviously, not below theirs because they did it to us, but no, I don't think that that is something we would ever do. Also, just got a let's see, RSBN moderator. Yes, thank you so much for that. She says, always remember website mods. They work hard with no glory and little thanks. They have been with us since the beginning. They are Common Sense and Glen O. Common Sense and Glen O. Thank you so much for all of your work on our website. We really appreciate you as well. I know you're not recognized as much, but thank you so much for everything. And for you too, RSBN moderator. We could not do that without you. So thank you for all of your support. So anyways, you can see the list without names, but just with different victim numbers. And so this is counts 2 through 9. And then count 10 says that paragraphs 1 through 19, 21 through 49, and 55 are re-alleged and incorporated by reference as if fully set forth herein, and to facilitate the purchase of infrastructure used in their hacking activity, including hacking into the computers of U.S. persons and entities involved in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, and releasing the stolen documents. The defendants actually conspired to launder the equivalent of more than $95,000 through a web of transactions structured to capitalize on the perceived anonymity of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. And although the conspirators caused transactions to be conducted in a variety of currencies, including US dollars, they principally use Bitcoin when purchasing servers, registering domains, and otherwise making payments in furtherance of hacking activity. Now, many of these payments were actually processed by companies located in the U.S. that provided payment processing services to hosting companies, domain registrars, and other vendors, both international and domestic. Now, the use of Bitcoin allowed the conspirators to actually avoid direct relationships with traditional financial institutions, allowing them to evade greater security of their identities and sources of funds. And we just received a $4.99 donation from Debo. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you. It has been good seeing you basically every day this week, donating and in the chat room. Thank you so much for that. So all of the Bitcoin transactions were actually added to a public ledger, which was called the blockchain. And the blockchain identifies the parties to each transaction only by an alphanumeric identifiers known as the Bitcoin address. And to avoid creating a centralized paper trail of all their purchases, because of course they did not want anything left behind, any evidence at all, but as you can see, they were not successful in that. The conspirators actually purchased infrastructure using hundreds of different email accounts, and in some cases even using a new account for each purchase. They used fictitious names and addresses in order to obscure their identities and their links to Russia and the Russian government. For example, the DCleaks.com domain was registered and paid for using the fictitious name Carrie Feehan and an address in New York. And in some cases, as part of the payment process, the conspirators provided vendors with nonsensical addresses such as USA, Denver, AZ, and just a combination of different numbers and letters there. And then they also used several dedicated email accounts to track the basic Bitcoin transaction information, which was used to facilitate Bitcoin payments to vendors. Now, one of these dedicated accounts, which was registered with the username gfade147, actually received hundreds of Bitcoin payment requests from approximately 100 different email accounts. So for example, on February 1st, 2016, this account received the instruction to please send exactly, and you can see this number here, 0.026043 Bitcoin to a certain 34-character Bitcoin address. And then shortly thereafter, this transaction matching those exact instructions was added to the blockchain. And now, on occasion, the conspirators facilitated the Bitcoin payments using the same computers that they used to conduct their hacking activity, including to create and send test spear phishing emails. And we're getting a little bit closer to the end. We are on page 23 right now out of 29. So I am going to keep going through this. Stay strong. Thank you so much for tuning in so far and for watching. We really, really appreciate all of you. And we're so thankful that you guys are here. And I know some of you are commenting right here. Thank you so much. Meteorist Joe 82 says he's been a watcher for over 2 years. Thank you so much for that, and hoping for more of that interactivity, and that is definitely our goal here at RSBN. So Joe, if you have any questions, please comment them here as well, and I can also would love to connect with you on Twitter even when I'm not on the air. And so if you have any comments, questions, concerns that you want me to mention, you can send them right here to my Twitter account at Alyssa RSBN, and I will check Twitter right now and make sure that there is nothing new. Yes, Donna Maria, thank you so much. And I did see in the chat box as well, reminding me to thank the website moderators, especially Common Sense and Glenn O. Thank you so much. I know I just shouted you out, but I wanted to say it again because DM messaged me as well, one of our fantastic moderators here on YouTube. But thank you so much for all that you do, just for us, just keeping everything clean and making sure that our website runs smoothly as well. And it looks like I got another couple more questions. From Cowboy Greg 2020, he says, let me see, doing a great job. It's so sad that the people are not all as clear and concise as you are. I am shocked that the DOJ and the FBI have been so compromised. It's hard to imagine that this all happened. And then he said, I do have a question. What do you think the outcome will be when the year passes? Was this a smokescreen all along? Just from the evidence that I saw today, and yes, that is me on the air right now. I just saw because you asked easy question. But anyways, I don't think this was a smokescreen. I think it was a very important issue. I know that sometimes maybe too much emphasis has been put on it, but in the future, a year from now, I am just hoping that it really enables us to have more secure elections, because we can learn from our mistakes and learn from the Russian hacking and just kind of moving on, hoping to never ever see that again. That is what I hope in the future. And let me see. Okay, I'm going to just keep this up in case any more of you have questions, and you can see the fantastic moderators right here are commenting my Twitter handle. Thank you so much for that, and for always promoting our interaction with our viewers. We're not able to do it without you guys. And I'm going to bring this back up, but let me move along a little bit just to more statutory allegations in this report. So from at least in or around 2015 to 2016, within the District of Columbia and elsewhere, these different defendants together and with others. They were known and unknown to the grand jury. They did knowingly and intentionally conspire to transport, transmit, and transfer monetary instruments and funds to a place in the United States from and through a place outside the United States. And it looks like it kind of repeats itself there, but anyways, with the intent to promote the carrying on of specified unlawful activity, namely a violation of Title 18 United States Code 1030, contrary to Title 18. And then count 11, which was a conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States. So the defendants in count 11 are Alexander Vladimirovich Osadchuk, who was realleged and incorporated by reference as if fully set forth herein. And then defendants Osadchuk and Kolaev were GRU officers who knowingly and intentionally conspired with each other and with persons known and unknown to the grand jury to hack into the computers of U.S. persons and entities responsible for the administration of the 2016 U.S. elections, such as state boards of elections, Secretary of State, and U.S. companies that supplied software and other technology related to the administration of the U.S. elections. And in case you're wondering what the object of the conspiracy was, it was to hack into protected computers of persons and entities charged with the administration of the 2016 U.S. elections in order to access those computers and steal voter data and other information stored on those computers. And then the manner and means of the conspiracy. So it was in June 2016 when Kovalev and his co-conspirators researched domains used by the U.S. State Board of Elections, Secretaries of State, and other election-related entities for website vulnerabilities. Now, Kolaev and his co-conspirators also searched for state political party email addresses, including filtered queries, for email addresses listed on the Republican Party websites. Now, it was around July 2016 when Kovalev and his co-conspirators hacked the website of a state board of elections and stole information related to approximately 50,000 voters, including names, addresses, partial social security numbers, dates of birth, and driver's license numbers. Also, no, hold on, I see many of you commenting about the Q balloons that were over London today, which Mikey Humbert sent me a picture of. I did not ignore it. I was just saving it, so I'm not too all over the place. But now that I have a little bit of clarification, we can take a quick break from this report, and I will show you guys. Can zoom in on it a little bit here. Deplorable Denise tweeted Q balloons launch at Windsor Castle. It's the antidote to the childish Trump baby blimp in central London, but you can bet the lamestream media won't report on it. Hashtag QAnon. I will zoom in on it so you can see a little bit better. So here are these Q balloons with a banner and a picture of Donald Trump under it. and then a Trump sign. So thank you so much, Mikey, for sending that to me. And if you guys have any other, I especially love pictures, visuals are super helpful, website links, different information that you want to send and share with me to my Twitter account, I would love that, and then I am able to share it with all of you watching. So please continue to do that. Thank you so much again, Mikey, for sharing that. And I'm gonna back up a little bit, finish up telling you guys about the report, and then we will move on to some different articles I have for you, and also to Attorney General Rod Rosenstein's comments from today as well. So leaving off right here, we were at the manner and the means of the conspiracy. So we already got that. I believe we're right here on number 73. So it was in or around August 2016 when Kovalov and his co-conspirators hacked into the computers of a U.S. vendor, which was called Vendor 1. And that supplied software used to verify voter registration information for the 2016 U.S. elections. Now, Kovalev and his co-conspirators used some of the same infrastructure to hack into Vendor 1 that they had used to hack into SBOE 1. And then it was around August 2016 when the FBI issued an alert about the hacking of SBOE 1 and identified some of the infrastructure that was used to conduct the hacking. And in response, Kovalev actually deleted his search history, and him and his co-conspirators also deleted records from accounts used in their operations targeting state boards of elections and similar election-related entities. And then it was in or around October 2016 when Kovalev and his co-conspirators further targeted state and county offices which were responsible for administering the 2016 U.S. elections. And for example, it was about October 28th, 2016 when Kovalev and his co-conspirators visited the websites of certain counties in Georgia, Iowa, and Florida to identify different vulnerabilities. And then it was in or around November 2016 and prior to the 2016 U.S. presidential election when Kovalev and his co-conspirators used an email account designed to look like a Vendor 1 email address to send over 100 spear phishing emails to organizations and personnel involved in administering elections in numerous Florida counties. And then these emails contain malware, which the conspirators embedded into Word documents bearing Vendor 1's logo. Now, some more statutory allegations. It was between June 2016 and November 2016 in D.C. and elsewhere when defendants Osadchuk and Kovalov, together with others which were known and unknown by the grand jury, knowingly and intentionally conspired to commit offenses against the United States. And the offenses are listed here below, namely to knowingly access a computer without authorization and exceed authorized access to a computer, and to obtain thereby information from a protected computer where the value of the information obtained exceeded $5,000 in violation of Title 18, and to knowingly cause the transmission of a program, information, code and command, and as a result of such conduct, to intentionally cause demand without authorization to a protected computer, and where the offense did cause, and if completed, would have caused loss aggregating $5,000 in value to at least one person during a 1-year period from a related course of conduct affecting a protected computer, and damage affecting at least 10 protected computers during a 1-year period, which was in violation of Title 18 of the United States Code, Sections 1030A, 5A, and 1030C, 4B. And hopefully you guys are not getting tired of this. I'm sorry if you are. We are almost there. We just have a couple pages left. We are on page 27. I don't know if you can see it here at the bottom under the lower third, but I thought this would be most important to read to you guys first, just so you know what this entire discussion is centered around. So, in furtherance to the conspiracy and to affect its illegal objects, Asadchuk, Kovalev, and their co-conspirators committed to the overt acts set forth in paragraphs 67 through 69 and 71 through 76, which are realleged and incorporated by reference as is fully set forth herein. So then the forfeiture allegation, it reads, pursuant to Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 32.2, notice is hereby given to defendants that the United States will seek forfeiture as part of any sentence in the event of defendant's convictions under counts 1, 10, and 11 of this indictment. Pursuant to Title 18 United States Codes, and it says some different sections which you can see there, upon conviction of the offenses charged in counts 1 and 11, you can see those defendants' names listed there, and Kovalev shall forfeit to the United States any property, real or personal, which constitutes or is derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of such violation, and any personal property that was used or intended to be used to commit or to facilitate the commission of such offense. And then it goes on to say, notice is further given that upon conviction, the United States intends to seek a judgment against each defendant for a sum of money representing the property described in this paragraph as applicable to each defendant. And then right here, the substitute assets, if any of the property described above as being subject to forfeiture as a result of any act or omission of any defendant cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred or sold to or deposited with a third party, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, or has been commingled with other property that cannot be subdivided without difficulty, it is the intent of the United States of America, pursuant to Title 18 U.S. Code Section 982B and Title 28 United States Code Section 2461C, incorporating Title 21 U.S. Code Section 853, to seek forfeiture of any other property of said defendant. And then right here, it is signed, as you can see, by Special Counsel to the U.S. DOJ, Robert S. Mueller. So we have finally gotten through that. Thank you so much for tuning into that part. And now we can move on to some of the comments that Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said today. So, moving on kind of, and I'm going to try my best not to repeat tons of information. It is 29 pages, the Millers. And if you want to see it, I'm going to comment right here this link from CBS News where it is posted. And so if you want to see the whole thing, go for it. If you missed any of it, or if you have questions or any part of it was unclear to you. So let's see, moving on. I already got that in the beginning. Okay. So in his opening statement, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, he first said that the grand jury in D.C. returned an indictment presented by the Special Counsel's Office, which charges 12 Russian military officials by name for conspiring to interfere with the 2016 presidential election. And he said that 11 defendants were charged with hacking into computers, stealing documents, and releasing documents with the intent to interfere in the election. And he said that one defendant and a 12th military officer are charged with conspiring to infiltrate computers of organizations involved in administering elections, including state boards of election, Secretary of State, and companies that supply software used to administer elections. And now, according to the allegations of the indictment, the defendants worked for 2 units of the main intel directorate of the Russian staff, known as the GRU. And I mentioned that at the very beginning. Okay, let me see. In case you are still wondering, those different units are called 26165 and 74475, which are led, of course, by different Russian military intelligence officials. So they have been involved in operations to interfere with the 2016 election, and one unit stole information and another unit disseminated this stolen info. And those 2 techniques that I mentioned to you guys earlier, one of them was spear phishing, which is sending misleading email messages and tricking users into disclosing passwords and security info. And the other one was hacking into computer networks and spying on users, capturing keystrokes, and taking screenshots to actually remove data from computers. Now, these Russian hackers, they accessed email accounts of volunteers and employees of the U.S. presidential campaign, including the campaign chairman of March 2016, and they also hacked into networks of Congress Campaign Committee and the National Political Committee. They monitored computers, installed hundreds of files containing malicious computer code, and stole emails and other documents. And once again, this is from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. They created fake online personas, which I mentioned to you in the indictment, DC Leaks and Guccifer 2.0. And they used these personas to release information, including thousands of stolen emails and other documents, beginning in June 2016. And I see your comment right here, Sons of Patriarchy. Does anyone think that the timing of this indictment being just days before Trump's meeting with Putin is a coincidence? Definitely not. I feel like it was definitely on purpose, and it is not going to help that meeting at all. It's going to make things, I think, a lot more tense. But stay tuned, because we will be streaming that meeting for you as we are able, if we're able to get that video feed. So they also, the Russian hackers, used a third unnamed organization to pass these documents. And to conceal their connection to Russia, they used a network of computers around the world and paid for it using cryptocurrencies, which I mentioned to you guys earlier. And so there's no allegations in the indictment that Americans knew they were corresponding with Russian intel officers. And then in a second conspiracy, Russian GRU officers hacked the website of a state election board and stole information of about 500,000 voters. And they hacked into a company that verified info about voter registration. Now, as we, went through the entire report, the whole indictment, you did see this, but count one charges 11 defendants for accessing computers without authorization and to damage those computers with efforts to interfere with the presidential election. And then 2 to 9 charged with aggravated identity theft by using usernames and passwords of officials. And 10 discusses the money laundering, how they were purchasing the servers. And 11 is where 2 defendants for a separate conspiracy for using computers to administer elections. And like I mentioned before, no American citizen committed a crime, and it did not change the vote count or the result. And then the Attorney General said he started just talking about unity, and he said we intend to, but even before that, he said we intend to transition responsibility for this indictment to the Justice Department National Security Division while we await apprehension of the defendants. And then he said that the Department of Justice does everything with honor. They don't try their cases on television. They follow the rule of law and procedures, and they evaluate all of the relevant evidence before they reach any conclusions. So that's kind of why this has just taken 2 years to come through. And so he also said that everyone charged with a crime, of course, is presumed innocent until proven guilty. And then he said, our analysis is based on facts, laws, and DOJ policies. And he said that the president is fully aware of the DOJ's actions, that he called him today and informed him of what was going on. And also he just talked about how things are just so different with the internet now, how it allows foreign adversaries to attack America in new and unexpected ways, and that we must all be united to our values in the Constitution. Whether we're Republican, Democrat, we need to set that aside and just be united in the values of the Constitution. But that's hard, and we haven't seen a lot of that lately because the government just is so partisan. And you saw yesterday just in the Peter Strzok hearing just how partisan it was, and there was just a yelling match between Republican and Democratic representatives, and it was almost 10 hours long. So yesterday was just a very long day. It was really interesting to see. But anyways, also I had a tweet that I wanted to share with you. I'm going to put the screen up real quick. But first, another $3.99 donation from Debo. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you and your continued donations throughout the evening. So I'm going to throw this up. It's from Aaron Blake. He is with the Washington Post. And he says, breaking, 12 Russian intelligence officers have been charged with hacking. Previously, 13 Russians were indicted for election interference. The investigation now charged 25 Russians, obtained 5 guilty pleas, and charged Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. And so, as you can see, it has just been a crazy investigation. And I have a little bit more for you guys. So, kind of the White House's response. They said that the Russia indictment was consistent with the claim of no collusion. So, I'm going to, sorry, I'm adjusting your screens here real quick. So on Friday, like I just mentioned, the White House said the indictment of 12 Russians for hacking was consistent with President Trump's campaign, that with his claim that his campaign did not collude with Moscow's election meddling. And Hello Kitty Big Fun made a little Alyssa emoji of my face. Sorry. Thank you for that. You're cracking me up.
I made that.
Oh, you made that? Thank you. That's so funny. Joe made that. Thank you so much. You guys are cracking me up. Anyways, so
They get that in the sponsor along with the rest of the emojis.
okay, you get it when you sponsor. So thank you for that, Joe. It's cracking me up. I am not used to seeing my tiny face all over the place. And
You can change it if you want. It's up to you.
okay, maybe. I think that one's good for now. People seem to like it. Oh my gosh. Stop, guys. I can't focus when you're using that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Anyways, so today, the White House spokesperson Lindsay Walters said, today's charges include no allegations of knowing involvement by anyone on the campaign and no allegations that the alleged hacking affected the election result. And she said, this is consistent with what we have been saying all along. And this is from an article from The Hill, giving credit to you. Thank you very much for that. And so the statement was the White House's first official reaction to the indictment, which will complicate, of course, the president's meeting with President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, on Monday. And I have seen a lot that it is on Monday. I think he is in Scotland right now. But anyway, so in announcing these charges, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein actually said that the indicted Russians did communicate with Americans, but there was no, and I already told you guys this, there's no allegation in the indictments that the Americans knew they were communicating with Russian intelligence officers. And Rosenstein, however, did not rule out any future charges against Americans as part of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian election interference in 2016. And the White House statement included no condemnation of Russia for their efforts to interfere in the election, which is the unanimous conclusion of the U.S. Intelligence committee. And the president has been briefed on the charges, and they were announced to him as he was having tea with Queen Elizabeth II at Windsor Castle to conclude his first official visit to Great Britain. And so I am sure that definitely interrupted their tea time and made it less pleasurable. So I don't want to get too repetitive here. I do have some other information to share with you guys as well. And just since I apologize, I haven't checked yet, I am going to head over to our Facebook stream and make sure you guys don't have any questions in there. For those of you watching on Facebook, let's see, it's right here. Okay, it's muted, good. Want to see the comments. Someone said Rosenstein needs to be fired. Sorry, it is not. I want to see the full post, and it's not showing it to me, so I'm getting there. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. And that's very interesting. Mario Ayanata said USA should not have a computer election. They should have a ballot box like other parts of the world and make it compulsory election like Australia. And I'm kind of backing up. Sorry. Yeah, more of you are commenting how it is really interesting that Rosenstein's press conference is coming out at the same time that the president is going to meet with President Putin. That is, like I said before, definitely not going to make their meeting any better at all. Okay, Johnny's saying white noise on stream. Let me know if there's any more issues. I'm in headquarters right now, so it's a little bit of a bigger space. Real Frank in Florida, one of our mods, and sorry that I didn't mention you earlier, Real Frank, thank you so much for being a moderator, said, well, all the witches in Mueller's witch hunt appear to be male Russians. That is a very interesting observation. Yeah, and British Patriot saying Rosenstein did the conference at the exact moment Trump went into Windsor Palace for tea with the Queen. Also, I have kind of a different article from the Washington Post, and it's titled Charges Against Russian Intelligence Officers Intensify Spotlight on Trump Advisor Roger Stone. And so this just kind of says that a federal indictment, which was filed Friday today, accusing a dozen Russian military intelligence officers of conspiring to hack Democrats during the 2016 campaign spotlights communications between Roger Stone, who is a longtime advisor to President Trump, and an online persona allegedly operated by the Russians. Now, Stone has previously acknowledged exchanging direct messages on Twitter in August and September 2016 with Guccifer 2.0, who claimed to be a Romanian hacker. And Stone says that there is no proof that the account was connected to the Russians. But according to the criminal charges, which were filed on Friday by special counsel Robert Mueller, Guccifer 2.0 was actually operated by a group of Russian military intelligence officers based in Moscow. And now these, the Russians used Guccifer 2.0's Twitter account to send multiple messages to a person who was in regular contact with senior members of Trump's campaign. And it looks like just got a $299 donation from Devo. Thank you so much for that. And also I see your comment, yup 1562, who says, nice pic of our president helping to support May walking up the steps. Such a gentleman. Yes, it was so sweet to see that last night. I did show it in my stream talking about his visit to the UK. And so if you want to see it, you can go back to that stream last night, and you can, which was also the first one from my studio, which was really fun. But also you can just search. There were a lot of pictures on The Guardian showing his visit. And Angela Ray said, did you see the photo of President Trump sitting in Winston Churchill's chair? Wow, I did not. I want to see that, so I'm going to search it real quick before getting back to this article. That one's a little blurry. I'm going to show you a good one. Here is the president sitting in Winston Churchill's chair. Thank you so much for mentioning that, Angela Ray, and I'll give you guys a second to enjoy it. And I'm really sorry for that, Guinevere. I see that you keep saying YouTube keeps signing me out. That is very frustrating. And the British Patriot said he even posed like Churchill. Wow. That is a great photo op. You can see them right here, side by side. Okay, going to head back over to that article and keep sharing it with you guys. So the messages which were quoted in the court papers actually match exchanges that Stone had with the account, according to an image he posted on his personal website. And wow, you can actually see, I don't know if we'll be able to read it, but you can see the Twitter exchange with Guccifer 2.0. Wow. So I'm going to show that to you guys. I'm going to zoom in a lot and see if we can read it. Okay, you can see right here, Guccifer 2.0 saying, do you find anything interesting in the docs I posted? I read you've been hacked. I'm pleased to say you're a great man. Wow. That's crazy. Okay. And going back, so some of you are asking what happened to Tara. She is still with us. She is just reporting. Real Frank, you're cracking me up. Sorry. But anyways, Tara is still reporting for us and traveling to the different rallies. She is just no longer anchoring, but she's still with RSBN, and so you will still see her. Don't worry about that. And let's see, going back to this article. So like I said, Stone, he served briefly as an advisor to President Trump's campaign, and then he continued to informally advise him. He has actually denied any contact with Russia or a role in the hacked Democratic emails. And in a text message Friday from his Southern Florida home, Stone told the Washington Post that his exchanges with someone on Twitter claiming to be Guccifer 2.0 is benign based on its content, context, and timing. And he wrote, this exchange is entirely public and provides no evidence of collaboration or collusion with Guccifer 2.0 or anyone else in the alleged hacking of DNC emails, as well as taking place many weeks after the events described in today's indictment, he wrote. And yep, asking who's Guccifer. Guccifer was one of the two online personas that the Russian intelligence officials used to hack the 2016 presidential election. And now Grant Smith, who's actually an attorney for Stone, said in a statement that the indictment makes it clear that Stone was not involved in any way with the alleged hacking of the 2016 election. And yes, yep, it is Guccifer 2.0, but it's Guccifer. Joe, some people are saying there's bad static on Periscope. I don't know if it's everyone else. They were saying it for a while, and now Donnie Murdoch's saying it again. We're going to check on that for you. Sorry about that. So, according to the Washington Post, Stone's communication with Guccifer 2.0 began in August 2016, which was months after prosecutors say Russian officers hacked the DNC and Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. But by then, Guccifer 2.0 had begun to release some of the emails online to a site called DC Leaks and through WikiLeaks, according to the indictment. And at the time, there was already widespread speculation that the Guccifer 2.0 account might be connected to the Russian government. And then Stone himself wrote a column for Breitbart on August 5th, 2016, in which he argued that Guccifer 2.0 was a hacker who was not connected to the Russians. And then 9 days later, he reached out to Guccifer 2.0, who had been briefly banned from Twitter, and he said, "Delighted you're reinstated." And then, like I mentioned before, Guccifer 2.0 said, "Thank you for writing back. Do you find anything interesting in the docs I posted?" And then Stone actually replied by sending a column he wrote for the publication, The Hill, about how voting machines could be manipulated to rig the election against Trump. And Stone asked Guccifer 2.0 to retweet the column. And Guccifer 2.0 said, "Done. I'm pleased to say that you're a great man. Please tell me if I can help. Anyhow, it would be a great pleasure to me." And then on September 9th of that same year, the Russians used the Guccifer 2.0 account to quiz Stone about a document stolen from the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee that had been posted online according to the indictment. And then the Russians wrote, "Hi, what do you think of the info on the turnout model for the Democrats' entire presidential campaign?" Stone responded that it was pretty standard. And then in an April 2017 interview with the Post, Stone said that there was no proof that Guccifer 2.0 was Russia-linked, despite a U.S. intelligence assessment several months earlier that Russian intelligence had orchestrated the tracks. And then, let's see, I want to get this right. This is from Stone. He said, "Sorry guys, you cannot prove Guccifer is a Russian agent. When the intelligence services use the word assessment, that means we don't know, we are guessing." And then Stone said he had not been contacted by Mueller's team, but amid the special counsel's interest in his associates, he raised the possibility that investigators are seeking to conjure up some extraneous crime pertaining to my business, or maybe not even pertaining to the 2016 election. And this was what he told NBC's Meet the Press in May. And he also told NBC that he was prepared to be indicted, but he added that such a move would be an effort to silence or punish the president's supporters and his advocates. And then after the news of Mueller's latest indictment, he said on Friday in a text message that he never had any anticipation of being indicted on a charge of alleged involvement regarding collaboration with WikiLeaks or the Russians, based on the fact that this is entirely untrue. And he said, "Beyond that, I have no further comments." And then the Washington Post reported in March that two Stone associates said Stone claimed to have had contact with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, in 2016. And he told the Post that he only recalled having one conversation with anyone in which he alluded to meeting with the WikiLeaks founder. And he said, the comment he said he made as a joke. And on October 7th, 2016, I know that this was a huge scandal as well. WikiLeaks first published a cache of Podesta's hacked emails, and some of them described internal conflicts within the Clinton Foundation. And WikiLeaks then posted thousands of additional emails through the month of October. And History B saying Stone, who is this Stone? He was actually an advisor to President Trump that is likely going to be questioned because of the indictment made today. So I'm kind of just sharing some background on you guys with that. His name is Roger Stone, and he's a former President Trump campaign advisor. And he spoke about his interaction with one of these, one of the personas made by the Russians, which was Guccifer 2.0. And then kind of moving on to his communication with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange as well. So 2 months before Podesta's emails were even published, speaking to a Republican group in Florida on August 8th, 2016, Stone said, "I have actually communicated with Assange," so he admitted to it, and he then predicted WikiLeaks would release a trench of documents related to the Clinton Foundation in October. And then on August 24th, he tweeted, "Trust me, it will soon be Podesta's time in the barrel, hashtag Crooked Hillary." And then October 3rd, he tweeted, "I have total confidence that WikiLeaks and my hero, Julian Assange, will educate the American people soon, hashtag lock her up." And he said that his contact with Assange actually came through an intermediary, a radio host in New York City. And he said that he had no advanced knowledge of the hacked emails, but he said his tweet about Podesta was a reference to his belief that new information would soon emerge regarding work that John Podesta's brother, lobbyist Tony Podesta, had undertaken in Ukraine. So there's a little bit of background there of Roger Stone, President Trump's former campaign advisor, and just how in the future he may be charged pretty soon because of these indictments today. And I have a little bit more to share with you guys, but getting close to wrapping up soon. So if you have any more questions, comments, opinions that you want me to share, please say them right here in the YouTube chat, which I have been watching all night. And I see your, where is it? I just lost it. Yes, Watchman117. I see your comment. "I wish Alyssa would do a preview of the 2018 midterms soon, key Senate races, etc." Yes, I definitely need to get on that. That is a great idea. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And let's see. So I wanted to share with you guys kind of some background. The time zone in Auburn, Alabama, Watchman, is Central Time. So right now it is 6:30 here. Anyways, I wanted to share with you guys some tweets that came out, and thank you so much for those, History B and Yup for your compliments. Really appreciate both of you. And Political Foolishness, thank you so much. I'm glad you have enjoyed this. Anyways, wanted to share with you guys some tweets that were posted out before the press conference today, which Rod Rosenstein actually said that he was calling it a law enforcement announcement, And Matt Ford tweeted out, Rod Rosenstein is holding a previously unannounced press conference at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time today. No topic listed. And then he posted a picture right here if you want to see. That's the top of the media advisory. And then, hold on, I just lost my article. Okay. And so then Eric Columbus posted, and this was very interesting, and also very, it kind of was foreshadowing as well. He said the only other time DOJ tweeted a Rosenstein announcement without topic was the day he announced Mueller's Russian indictments. And so obviously there was some foreshadowing there. And then multiple reporters were confirming that it would happen. Jake Tapper said Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein's pending press conference is special counsel related, according to a Justice Department official. And Natasha Bertrand said DOJ Cam just picked up someone saying about the Rosenstein presser. All I know is that it's Mueller related. And then Laura Jarrett asking, can we confirm Rosenstein presser starting shortly is special counsel related? Yes. So if you guys don't have any further questions, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching. And I would love to interact with you guys all the time, even when I'm not broadcasting. So please add me, follow me on Twitter right here. And when you message me, I'll approve that and be able to just engage in conversations with you guys. And let me see. Yes, got some more great tweets from you guys. Thank you so much for that. So thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you and your support. We are unable to do this without you. So thank you for watching, donating, supporting RSBN. And I hope you all have a fantastic night. I will see you next time.